Happy Tuesday, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us for week 3 of our Grow with Google Sprint, during which we are learning how to use YouTube to grow our businesses. So I see all of you joining us. I see everyone trickling in from the waiting room. And I know if you're like me, you have been waiting for this topic. So before I dive right in and get super excited, let me introduce myself. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, my name is Jillian Fortin, and I am with Team Alice. Team Alice, or Hello Alice, provides tools for business owners who want to learn more about launching, funding, growing, and managing their businesses. On the stage with me are my amazing colleagues, Brittany Hall and Danielle Teleria, who will be fielding your questions in the Q&A window down below. So a couple of housekeeping items. If you have any questions you'd like to ask our experts, please use the Q&A window as opposed to the chat. And we are going to keep our chat window specifically for discussions with one another. So just a little bit of housekeeping there. I know everyone's super amped to get started. So with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Betsy Schmidt, who is our wonderful partner with Grow with Google. And she's going to tell you a little more about the amazing programs they have for small business owners.
Thank you so much, Jillian. Thank you everybody for joining us, and thank you so much to the Hello Alice team for inviting us here today. Grow with Google helps ensure the opportunities created by technology are available to everyone. We're offering training and tools to help get people the skills they need to get jobs, advance their careers, or grow their businesses. We launched the program in 2017 and have trained more than 5 million Americans on digital skills and how to use Google software. We also have a network of partners, including Hello Alice, local libraries, a lot of nonprofits, chambers of commerce, Boys and Girls Club, 4-H, a variety of organizations that help share this information and free training programs. You can find out so much more about Google's free training resources at google.com/grow and in the Hello Alice how-to guides for this training sprint. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much, Betsy. And now without further ado, I am excited to introduce you all to our esteemed guest for today, Pamela Starr. So let me tell you a little bit about Pamela. Pamela is a speaker for the Grow with Google Partner Program. She is a longtime small business authority, devoting her career to helping larger organizations and small businesses connect. An accomplished leader, trainer, and keynote speaker, Pamela has trained, coached, and motivated more than 80,000 professionals in more than 500 training sessions and keynote presentations. So we're adding 332 of y'all to this number. Again, thank you so much for being with us today. Pamela started her career by training members of the U.S. Marshals Service. She progressed to working for corporations that relied on franchises, distributors, and independent sales representatives to fuel their success. Today, Pamela continues to earn the trust and loyalty of both small and big businesses by fostering mutually beneficial relationships. We're so excited to have Pamela on stage with us today to deliver this extremely valuable information to us. So with that, Pamela, I invite you to take the stage, and we're excited to hear what you have to share with us.
All right, well, thank you, Jillian, for that nice introduction. I am going to go ahead and share my screen. So just bear with me, here we go. And there you are. So today we're here to talk about creating and adding videos to your YouTube channel. As you heard just a couple of minutes ago, this is part of a sprint of learning opportunities that Grow with Google has partnered with Hello Alice. In the first sprint that we had, this is actually sprint number 2. In the first sprint that we had, we showed you how Grow with Google works with small businesses to help you connect with your customers. So if you missed the trainings in those sprints, in that sprint, by all means, reach out to Hello Alice, look at their community, and you can get replays of those videos as well. So that was all about your primary website. Today's video training is part of the sprint all about YouTube. This is the third in the series of 3. The first one was about creating compelling video content. The second one, which was just last week, was about creating your YouTube channel, which is where all of your videos live. And then today we're going to be talking about creating and adding videos to your YouTube channel. And personally, I think that's the most fun part because creating the videos gives you an opportunity to express your creativity. So let's get started with that. Here's some interesting information that's important to understand. 72% of small businesses in the United States say that getting started on YouTube is easy. Folks, it's not that hard. 65% of small businesses felt that being on YouTube helps them reach new customers. So this is a huge, huge audience. And if you have not yet experimented with uploading videos to YouTube, this is a great opportunity for you to learn how to do that and just kind of play around with it. The one thing I want you all to remember is that none of this is permanent. If you don't like a video, you don't have to upload it. You can, or if you liked a video, you uploaded it, you like a different idea, you can always download the first one and upload the second one. So this is not rocket science that we're talking about. But you do want to be sure that you create your videos strategically. And that's what we're going to be talking about here today. There was a time when creating videos was really a big deal. You needed to hire a specialist, you needed to have props, you needed to have special lighting. And in certain situations, yes, you may want to go ahead and invest in a very high quality video production created by a professional. But for most of you that are online with us here today, I'm going to guess you have a really good video production studio on the desk in front of you, or in your briefcase, or in your pocket, and that's your cell phone. One of the things that's really great about YouTube is thanks to YouTube, people, viewers, your future customers actually have a pretty low bar of what we will accept when it comes to YouTube videos. They don't have to be perfect. What they do want to be is they want to be authentic. And so you've got a great opportunity of showcasing your business expertise, building your brands, and letting people get to know you. So that way they learn to like you and trust you enough to want to do business with you. Now, when it comes to creating videos, you do need to put a little bit of thought into this. Before you kind of get all excited and say, here's my camera, I know what to say, I'm just going to start talking, I suggest you think carefully about what is the video going to be. You may be familiar with people talking about Google as a search engine. YouTube is also a search engine. People go onto YouTube because they're looking for information. They have a problem that they want a solution to, or they have a question they need an answer to. And so for your business, you can create videos that solve their problems or answer their questions. And that is really going to help your business grow. So start thinking about what is the story you want to tell. Now, when I say story, people think, oh, this is the story of my business. And that could be true, but it could be the story of how this pen is going to make you a better person. It's going to make you write easier. It's going to make you more creative, whatever your story is. You also want to think about what is the purpose of your video. When somebody watches your video, what do you want that person to do? Do you want them to say, well, that was a nice video, and then go watch another video? Or do you want them to visit your website? Or do you want them to book a consultation with you? Or do you want them to subscribe to your YouTube channel? So think carefully, even before you get started, about what do you want people to do when they watch your video? And then, and only at that point, start thinking about who or what is going to be the star of your video. It could be you personally as the business professional, or depending on what type of business you have, maybe it's one of your employees, or maybe you do different videos with different employees, or maybe with their permission, one of your loyal, happy customers does a video testimonial for you, or maybe the product is the star of the video. Now, at this point, people always ask me one question, so I'll go ahead and address it right now. Sometimes people will say to me, Pamela, I'm just really uncomfortable being on video. Do I really need to show my face? And the answer is not necessarily. You absolutely can do a slide presentation using Google Slides or another type of software, and you could do a voiceover talking about the presentation. Now, I will share with you a funny little secret here. The way you look on video is actually the same way that you look in person. And so if you are comfortable meeting with strangers, your future customers face to face, try and get used to the idea of having people meet you on video, because having your face on your video, that really helps personalize the experience. So that's just kind of a little tip for you there. When it comes to thinking about, well, what is this video supposed to be all about? Here's some ideas. What's the process for your service? Maybe you are a life coach. If somebody's never worked with a life coach, how does it even work? You could talk about that. How does your product work? Here's my pen. You can click on it and you can start to write. If the ink runs out, you can unscrew it and put in a new ink cartridge. That would be a good thing about a product. You can talk about how your product is made. We're family made right here in the United States. This is something that we put our hearts and souls into. Or you can talk about what makes you stand out, what makes you different from your competition. Unboxing videos, those are things which are a lot of fun and they're very popular, assuming you have a product. When you receive this product, this is what you need to do. Open the box, take out the stuffing, recycle it. This is how you assemble the product. People really like to get information like that. You can do unboxing videos for products, even if you don't make them. If you're a retail store, you could say, if you buy this particular product from us, this is what you can expect. But my favorite type of video is how to. How to is one of the most commonly searched phrases on YouTube. And so start thinking about, what are the questions your current customers ask you? Because chances are really good other people, strangers, have those same questions. And so how to work with a life coach, how to trim my dog's toenails. Start thinking about those how-to questions, and that could be the idea for your very next or your very first video. Now, there are some best practices for the videos themselves. I said a couple of minutes ago, people have a pretty low bar of what we will accept for videos, depending on what type of information that we want. But there are some things that you do want to be certain of. You want to have a clear and concise message. Do not ramble. Rambling is the kiss of death when it comes to YouTube videos. I've been speaking professionally for virtually my entire career. I always write a script. I suggest you write a script. Now, you do not need to memorize the script. You don't need to have a teleprompter. You don't need to have notes on 3x5 cards that you're glancing at for the script. But writing the script is going to help you get your thoughts organized. So that way, even if you are kind of free flowing or freewheeling or winging it, you're not really making it up as you go along. The other thing that's critically important is the first 5 to 15 seconds are the most important part of any video that you would create. And that's because, thanks to YouTube, people have the attention span of a gnat. So if you bore people right from the get-go, they're going to click away. So here's what I mean by that. Hi, I'm Pamela. I'm the owner of Pamela's Pet Shop, and we've been here in Tampa, Florida. This is my first video. I really hope you like. Nobody cares. A better first 5 seconds would be, does your dog have fleas? I'm going to give you 5 all-natural ways to get rid of fleas for good. And then I can go into, hi, I'm Pamela. I'm the owner of Pamela's Pet Shop. By the way, I don't really own a pet shop. I just kind of use that. I use that as my examples. The other thing that you want to be sure of is in your videos, in every video, you need to have some type of call to action. That call to action could be, in the description, I have a link to my website where you can order this product. Or in my description, I have a link to my schedule where you can book a free online consultation. Or depending on what the purpose of the video is, that call to action could simply be, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up so that way more people can be exposed to this video. Or if you like today's video, please subscribe to my channel so that way you can see more videos. It's kind of a funny thing when it comes to sales and marketing. If you ask people to do something, they are a heck of a lot more likely to actually do it than if you don't ask them to do it. So ask people what you want them to do. The other thing that you want to be careful of when it comes to your videos is the environment around you. Think of the space behind you. It's funny today, now that we are all getting used to seeing on the national news, people are being interviewed from their home offices. You see all kinds of clutter behind them. Don't do that because that's really distracting. You want people to focus on you, the expert, not trying to figure out what's going on behind you. Lighting is really important. As much as possible, whenever possible, shoot your videos outside. That way you'll have natural lighting. If you aren't in a situation where that makes sense for you, think about trying to face the window so that way the light is shining on you, so that way people can see your smiling face. Sound is one of the things that people will not forgive if it's bad. Depending on what type of camera you're using, you probably are going to want to invest at some point in some type of microphone. You can get a little lapel mic fairly easily for about $20. What you want to be sure of is if you're using your cell phone as your video camera, if it's this far away from you, the microphone might be okay. But if you have it on a tripod or propped up on a bookcase across the room, the microphone will not be okay. So be sure that the audio doesn't kind of flow in and out. Be sure if you're walking around or demonstrating something, the audio doesn't get louder and quieter. Audio is something that can definitely improve or completely ruin your video. That is the one thing you want to be mindful of. In the last video, in the last training as part of this sprint, you heard all about how to start your YouTube channel. And if you missed that learning experience, absolutely be sure to check on Hello Alice, where you can see a replay of that particular video. Today, we're going to talk about how to get videos into your YouTube channel. So the very first thing that you want to do is go to youtube.com and click on the sign in button. That will give you the opportunity to sign into your YouTube channel. Now, if you have a variety of different YouTube channels, you may have a personal YouTube channel and you may have a different YouTube channel that you use for your business. Just be sure you know what YouTube channel you are in. It can be easy to have multiple YouTube channels. You just want to be sure you're uploading the right video to the right channel. If you have uploaded videos or if you've uploaded files to anywhere online, the process is fairly straightforward. You would go to your YouTube channel. In the upper right hand, there's a place where you can upload your video. You can drag your file into the video. If you shot your video on your cell phone, depending on how you have that set up, you can probably upload it directly from your cell phone too. With YouTube, there's a lot of different ways you can do a lot of things. So what we're showing you here is just one of the ways that you can upload that particular video. Now, creating the video is one part of the project. The other part of the project is creating your video details. This part is incredibly important because the information that you put in your video details is what is going to help strangers find your videos, as long as you want them to do that. And I'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. So the very first thing after you're uploading a video to YouTube, the very first thing that you need to do is come up with a title for your video. Remember, I talked about how to is one of the most commonly searched phrases on YouTube. How to would be a really great title for your video. So think about those types of things for the title of your video. The title of your video should be the types of things you think people might be searching for. The next thing that you need to do is write a description of your video. You actually have up to 5,000 characters in that description area. Be mindful that just the first line or two is what most people will see. After that first line or two, people need to take the action of clicking on the link or clicking on the down arrow to expand your description. But the description is where a lot of the mathematical magic starts. You may have heard people talk about keywords as they relate to your website. And keywords are these seemingly magical words. If only you had the perfect words sprinkled throughout your website would magically be offered up to them. Now, it's not quite magic and it doesn't quite work exactly like that, but you want to also have keywords in your video description. So think again of the types of words and phrases you think your uninformed future customer is using when they go to YouTube looking for information, and incorporate those words and phrases into your description. You want those to be what we would call keyword rich. The next thing that you have to do is select the thumbnail. And the thumbnail is that rectangular graphic that you're probably used to seeing when you look at YouTube. And that graphic is designed with one thing in mind, and that is to capture the attention of a stranger who's kind of scrolling through YouTube looking for information. YouTube, after your video is uploaded, will go through it and select 3 random places in your video and offer them to you as options for thumbnails. In my experience, those 3 random screenshots are me with my eyes closed, me with my mouth hanging open, or me just really not looking the way that I want to look in a picture. If one of those random pictures is perfect for you, absolutely select that. You also do have the opportunity to use some type of third-party software to create a YouTube thumbnail that you can upload yourself. Remember, the whole purpose of the thumbnail is to capture people's attention. So make sure that the information is very crisp, very clear, and stands out from kind of the visual noise that people look at when they're looking at YouTube. After that, then you need to let YouTube know, is your video designed for children or not? There are certain rules and regulations for videos that are created for kids. Now, I do want to draw a distinction. A video that would be designed for kids could be something like, here's lullabies to play for your baby to help your baby fall asleep. If you're creating a video that's designed for parents to help their children fall asleep, that video is designed for adults. So just be sure that you're clear in your head if your video is designed for children to watch or to listen to in the example that I just gave there. The next thing that you need to do is you need to be clear and identify if your video includes paid promotion. And paid promotion would be something like, here's this pen, the pen manufacturer has sponsored today's video. Maybe they paid whatever that is. So just be clear about that. YouTube has gotten to be very crisp about being sure that everyone is being very transparent about what's paid promotion and what's just your own personal opinion. Next, you have the opportunity of adding tags to YouTube. Tags on YouTube really don't work quite the same way as tags on social media. Because remember, YouTube has those keywords that you would embed and you would use in your description. Tags can be things like common misspellings. So just be mindful that you can add those tags in there, but they're not necessarily going to do a whole lot of helping your video be offered up to your ideal future customer, but YouTube makes it available to you. Language, subtitles, and closed captions are the next section. If your video is in English, select English, and you can say this is in American English. If your video is in a different language, select that other language. Selecting those languages can be helpful for those of you that have bilingual audiences. That way, if there's somebody that speaks a language that is not English, they may be more likely to find your video if you identify clearly this video is in Spanish or it's in French or whatever the other language might be. When it comes to closed captions, there are some regulations for video that is on television. Needs to have some closed caption opportunities in certain situations. If you're using a television segment as part of your video, just be sure that you know what those regulations are. And in YouTube, there is a little question mark where they'll give you that information so you'll know whether or not you need to indicate that. Now, it's always a good idea to have closed captions on your videos, even if your video has never been on television. And that simply makes you more available to different audiences, but it's not mandatory for most videos. After that, you have the option of setting the recording date and the recording location. For some of you, that might be really good information. If you are working with something that's local based, if you are a dentist that is in your community and you want to talk about maybe an upcoming nonprofit event that you're doing to help kids get their teeth cleaned before school, obviously that would be something that'd be relevant only to people in your local community. So if that was the case, you can say what the location is. You don't have to do that if it's not relevant to what the particular video is all about. The next thing that you have the opportunity to do is determine the licensing and distribution. You have the ability to say, yes, other people can embed my video on their website. So why would you want that to happen? Well, if you want to broaden your reach, you might want other people to be able to embed your video on their website. The good news is if somebody embeds your video on their website, if one of their customers looks at your video, they'll go straight to your YouTube video. So it's not like this person would be able to really alter your video or anything like that. Shorts permissions is something which is relatively new to YouTube, and it's actually still in beta right now. YouTube Shorts are little 60-second snippets that are designed for people to enjoy on their cell phone. So they're vertical. And that's kind of a fun thing that I see a lot of YouTube influencers are starting to really maximize. So that might be something, if you have a lot of videos that you're really trying to build an audience, you might want to try experimenting with Shorts. The category lets you define what is the category of your business. At last counts, there was really only 15 categories, but those are things like music, gaming, comedy. For small businesses, it may be hard to find a category that's your precise category that defines your business. If that's the case, you really don't need to worry about that too much. Comments and ratings. You have the ability to decide if you want people to be able to leave comments and ratings for public consumption. You also do have the ability with the comments to ask you to screen comments for anything that might be potentially a problem. And I'll let you use your imagination to figure out what that might be. Or you can screen comments manually also to determine if they might be anything that would potentially be a problem. So you've got a lot of control over that as well. The next thing that you can do, now see, this is a lot that you can do. You don't have to do virtually none of this. You have to do. You have to name it, and you need to put something in the description. But you want to be sure that you're building this out, because the more information you put in these video details, the more likely it is that your ideal future customer is going to find your YouTube video. So end screens and cards are things that you can attach kind of within your video. End screens is a special message that shows up at the very end of your video. And that message could be something that you want, like watch another video, or subscribe to this channel, or visit our website. Cards kind of show up periodically throughout your video, and you can determine where you want that card to show up. You may have seen other people's videos where they'll say, I'm talking about this particular pen, and I did another video about pencils, and I'll link that. And then there'll be a little message that will pop up at the top of the video, and there'll be a link to, pencil video. So if people clicked on that, they could go to your next video. So that's what the cards are all about. All of these things, if you're just getting started, you may not be quite ready for them, but if you're starting to build some traction, definitely explore them, because they can really help people find your video. The next thing that's always kind of a fun topic of conversation is the visibility. You have 3 options for visibility. You can designate a video as public, unlisted, or private. So a video that you designate as public, that means anybody out there who has access to YouTube can potentially find your video. So, and you would never know. So that is public. Most of the time, you're probably thinking, well, I want my video to be public. And that may absolutely be the case. You do also have the option of making a video what we call unlisted. Unlisted means you can share the link to your video with people. The people you share it with can also share it with other people. So you could end up with complete random strangers watching your video, but only because somebody shared it with them. That would be kind of like, those friends and family coupons that we all love to get in email. So think of it that way. So when would you want to have an unlisted video? Maybe you're having a special promotion and you really want to kind of maximize this and make your existing customers feel super special. You can say, hey, in my video, I'm going to be talking about my upcoming information. This is only for friends and family. It's only for you. But if you want to share it with the people that you know and like and trust, by all means, I welcome you to do that. So that kind of builds a little bit of a sense of specialness about the video. The third option are private videos. So let's talk a little bit about private. First of all, keep in mind, nothing online is ever truly private. Somebody could absolutely use their own camera to take a video of your video, even if you marked it as private. You know, I'm kind of smiling as we talk about that. I think that we've all heard the stories about the starlets and their private videos. Never put anything online that you don't want your preacher, teacher, or grandmother to see. So when do you want to have a private video for your business? Maybe you have a VIP club and people pay you to be part of your VIP club. And one of the benefits of being part of your VIP club is they get access to exclusive content. Private video means you tell YouTube, these are the email addresses of the people who are allowed to see this video. They cannot share it with other people. Other private videos could be, maybe you are a home decorator. And so you're doing some videos that you want to share with one of your clients, but your client doesn't want her home or his home, you know, made out there for the whole wide world to see. That could be another example of a private video. Or maybe you have a class and only the participants of that class can have access to the recording of that particular class. So that's when you may want to make something private. So you can start to kind of think very strategically about how you can use these different visibility levels to really bolster whatever it is you're trying to do with your business. After that, you can schedule your video to be made visible at some point in the future. So when you're just getting started with your videos, it can feel a little bit nerve-wracking. Even for what I do for a living, I do a lot of videos. I do a lot of live training events just like today's. And I'll be honest with you all. The days that I know that I'm going to be doing something with videos, those are the days I, put on my lipstick. I iron my t-shirt. I try to adjust the lighting. I'm sure that, the dog is out of the house when I'm filming videos. So it can be helpful for you to kind of batch your time and say, Monday's the day I'm going to film 4 videos, film them all one after another. And then maybe the following week, that's when you can start to edit the videos. And then maybe the week after that is the day that you sit down on YouTube and you kind of load them all up at the same time, but maybe you don't want them to be visible all at the same time. That's why you can schedule them to go out at some point in the future. That can really help you maximize the way that you're spending your time and energy at work. And if you're like the rest of us, you need to do that for sure. So everything that I just talked about are things that you can do behind the scenes to help your video have the best opportunity of being found by your ideal future customer. There is one final thing though that you do need to do. You need to do your part. So the next step and the final step YouTube will offer you is the opportunity to share your video with your own audience. You can embed the video on your website. You can share it with your social media connections. You can put it on your blog, or you can get a link to your video and you can embed that if you're doing email marketing. Do your part to share your video with your friends, your family, your customers, your prospects, the people that you know from your local chamber of commerce, the people that you network with. Share your video with everybody. Let them know, hey, I'm really trying to build some traction with my YouTube channel. Could you please watch my video? Please give it a thumbs up. Share my video with the people that you know. So do your part to start to gain momentum for your video. And then over the course of time, you're going to find that total complete random strangers, as long as you've listed your video properly, are going to find your video. They're going to leave comments. You definitely want to reply back to those comments and start to build some engagement with people. And that's how you can start to upload videos to YouTube to really help your business grow. Now, as I mentioned, today was the 3rd in the sprint of videos that we have, or the trainings that we had about YouTube. If you want to go back and watch the first or the second videos, absolutely check with Hello Alice. I know that they've been putting information out there for you to find. I definitely encourage you to watch the first 2 videos in the sprint if you have not seen them yet. Finally, Grow with Google has got a ton of information that is available to you. We have information in a tool called Google On Air. We've got a lot of great training materials, not just about YouTube, but about a lot of our different online strategies. And then we also have information in the Grow with Google website. We've got a ton of free resources there for you as well. And of course, anytime you have questions about how you can maximize your business, Hello Alice is an amazing resource. I was on there just the other day doing some searches for information I was looking for, and the information I needed was right there. So thanks to all the folks at Hello Alice for providing such a wealth of resources to all of us. So thank you for your time here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pamela. This has been incredibly helpful. And we have a ton of folks with a lot of really thoughtful questions. And one of them is Sophia. And I'm so glad to have Sophia on stage with us. Hey, Sophia, how's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So before we dive into your question, which is really, really great, I just want to set the stage a little bit real quick. So now that we're segueing into our Q&A portion of the conversation, just want to remind everyone to please use the Q&A window down below, and we will track each question that comes in. We will, once we see a question come in, we will direct message you to get your permission to bring you on stage, just like we did with Sophia. And one last thing, from this point on, we are going to ask that in the chat window, we only have our discussion, we only have chats that pertain to our discussion. So although the introductions have been lovely, we're going to keep the discussions on topic. Alrighty. So just wanted to reset the room there. And Sophia, the mic is all yours.
Hi, Pamela. Thank you so much for your amazing presentation. I'm so excited to share our difficulties as Pendia Health. We're the only women-founded, women-led, doctor-led birth control delivery company. And we have, I think, a fairly interesting YouTube in that we have some videos with 300,000 views with no promotion, no advertising, no nothing, simply because we know the questions that women ask and we answer them. And one of them is, first time on birth control, here's Dr. Yen's tips, or top 5 reasons why your periods are late. So obviously those are very popular videos, but I'm wondering, I don't think we're seeing any conversions there. And what is a way to increase people going from your YouTube to your website? And then is there any way to track it other than looking at Google Analytics and see who lands on your website?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. It sounds like you've got a really interesting business model as well. I'm not having seen any of your videos. I'm going to wonder if your audience might feel a little uncomfortable being so public with the types of questions that they might be asking, just because you're in kind of that delicate side of all of our lives. One of the things that I would definitely recommend is in your videos themselves, ask people questions and say something like, today's video was about X. Please comment below and let us know what you want our next video to be. That way, what you really want to do is start building a conversation in a community. Like Hello Alice has done such a great job building a community. As much as possible, you want to build a community. Now, when it comes to tracking conversions to either your YouTube channel as a whole or to individual videos, that's where you want to get pretty strategic with having a special offer or a special link that's tied to this one particular video. So if in this one particular video, you're talking about, how to get started, click here for, a discount. I don't know if you can offer it. We'll say free shipping. For your first shipment, you can get free shipping. Click in the description below. So you can want to be sure that you are tying whatever that offer is that's unique to that one particular video back to your website. Or it could be a coupon code, or it could be some other unique action you want people to take, that the only people that are ever going to be able to take that action are people that have actually watched that particular video. That way you can start to kind of track, lots of people are watching this video because it's great information and they like it and they appreciate what you're sharing with them. But, at the end of the day, obviously you want to grow your business. And so I would say you just want to be really strategic about how is it that you're going to track that action. You come up with something that's unique just for that each individual video. And it could be some type of unique coupon code, or send people maybe to a certain landing page on your website. And then that's where Google Analytics would take over.
Okay. So just one quick, follow-up. if I have an old video that has 300,000 views, but it didn't have the, answer questions below, or here's a coupon code, or click on the description, can I edit it and reload it, or would it lose its 300,000 views and it would come into a new one?
Yeah, that's a great question. You do not want to take down that video. And you can't, if you take down a video, then you're like, oh, I'm going to replace it with the new and improved version. You're going to lose everything. What you can do is that's where the end cards and the screens come into play. So what you could do is come up with one of those end cards that says something like, check description below for X, Y, and Z. Or you could have something that says, click here to visit our updated version of this video. Then in the description, you can go in and you can update that description. So you could put a little bit more information in there. And that could be, here's our free coupon or whatever. Or that description could also then say at the very top, we have an updated version of this video. Click here to watch the updated version. But you do not want to take that video down.
Thank you so much.
Great question. All righty, Sophia, I'm going to invite you to join us back in the audience while we invite Matt to the stage. Hey there, Matt.
Unmute, there we go, thank you. So good to be here again. Thank you so much for doing all these videos. I've got a question. I've got a myriad of accounts spread out between Google accounts, YouTube accounts, and now I'm confused with what's the difference between a YouTube account and a YouTube channel. So could you please briefly kind of, for those of us that started YouTube, 15 years ago before it was owned by Google, how we navigate that?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and it can be confusing. So a Google account, at its most basic, is a Gmail email address. Now you can register a different email address as a Google account, but your Google account is kind of the hub of everything that you're doing online with Google tools, including YouTube. So your Google account is kind of like the top level. Underneath that, then you can have a YouTube account. Now, if you have a Google account, you kind of automatically have a YouTube account. Now, what you said, Matt, was that you were using YouTube way before Google owned YouTube. So you may have some type of legacy YouTube account. But within one YouTube account, you can then have multiple YouTube channels. So with YouTube, it's interesting because you can have multiple YouTube accounts and you can have multiple YouTube channels. So if I were you, what I would try to do is just be really clear with yourself of what is the presence that you want to use for your YouTube infrastructure. Now, if everything that you're talking about on YouTube is kind of all within the same world, ideally, it would all be within the same channel. But if you've got lots of diverse interests, in that case, you might want to have different YouTube channels. There's some really great information in something called the YouTube Creator Academy, which is a free resource. I don't know if you've ever seen that, Matt. If you've been using YouTube for a long time, maybe you have. And in the YouTube Creator Academy, they've got a ton of information about organizing your channels and organizing your accounts. So that might be a good reference point for you to look at too.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I've got a personal account and I've got two companies that each have their own YouTube accounts. And now I'm trying to decide, do I try to consolidate those or do I keep them all separate?
Well, you want to be careful about that because if you try to consolidate them, the only way you can move a video from one channel, you can't migrate a video from one channel to another channel. So what you don't want to do, like our last question was, you don't want to take a video away because then you're going to lose everything with that and you'd have to start fresh from the new one. So if you want to migrate people over to all just one YouTube channel, you may want to go into whatever YouTube channel are you trying to de-emphasize and just put messages in there, something like, please visit our new and improved YouTube channel. And just in all of your videos, you may need to say that just kind of to get people to migrate over to your new one.
I see. Okay, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. And I'm going to invite you to join us back in the audience. All righty. So we have Darissa on stage with us. Darissa, I'm going to invite you to turn your video on now as the mic is all yours.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Darissa.
Thank you so much, Pamela. Thank you so much. Hello, Alice. I had a couple of questions. Sorry, I'm trying to go back to where I put my questions. Oh, I don't see them. So my question was, the first one, on a lot of social media, other social media platforms, it's emphasized to use captions because a lot of people are listening with the sound off. And I want to know for YouTube, is that so much the case that people are listening with the sound off? Because I kind of feel like more people on YouTube will be listening with it on. So not saying that you shouldn't have captions, but I just want to make sure I have like an understanding of the distinction. And then my second question is with keywords and hashtags and tags. So with keywords, I know it's like really important to have those in your description and in your title. And I kind of wanted to know if you can have hashtags, if that works the same way on the Google platform as it does on other platforms. And if so, do you do them the same way? Like, do you do hashtag? Like if I wanted to have a keyword, would I have the keyword as just the word and as a hashtag, or just use the keywords?
Okay, so let's start off talking about audio. You're absolutely correct and I always laugh when I say this, in traditional social media platforms, as if there's really any tradition when it comes to social media. But in other social media platforms, there is a viewpoint of, many people will have the audio turned off because, if somebody is sitting there looking at social media when they're, maybe at work or, even if they're in a public place, nobody likes that startle of, oh my gosh, there's the video that's playing loud. Now with YouTube, people go to YouTube because they want to watch videos. So you definitely need to anticipate they want to hear it. Now with captions are something which is starting to get really interesting. There is a whole focus right now in the online world about accessibility. And accessibility is something that many organizations are really still kind of trying to learn about and figure out what does that mean. But that one of the easiest things when it comes to accessibility is to have captions on your videos. So having those closed captions on your videos means that people, regardless of what they're hearing, if they have any hearing issues, they can still consume your content. I have not yet heard any information that is telling me that content that has captions on it will show up higher in rankings. I have not heard that information, but I would say because I am hearing a lot of buzz in the industry about accessibility, I would not be surprised if that would be coming at some point in the future. And no, I don't have a crystal ball, so I'm not making predictions by any means, but it is something that I'm starting to see a lot of. So if it's possible, if you had to choose captions or no captions, all things being equal, I would say yes, give people the opportunity to have captions. I realize it's an extra step to take. When it comes to your question about hashtags and keywords, hashtags, again, are something which is very popular with those traditional social media platforms. Hashtags, you can put hashtags on your YouTube videos. In fact, when you're filling out the video details, there's actually a space where YouTube gives you to put in, hashtag whatever, hashtag ballpoint pen. However, YouTube will tell you that hashtags really aren't going to make a dramatic difference in people discovering your videos. Where hashtags on YouTube can come into play is kind of with common misspellings. We'll just say YouTube. Some people will put YouTube, the words YouTube all together. Other people might put a dash in between the U and the tube. So if there's like some common misspelling for what it is that you're talking about, that's where a hashtag may potentially help you out. But it's not going to give you the same oomph with YouTube as it would with other social media platforms.
Thank you. And a follow-up question on the captions piece. Is it better to use YouTube's native, I guess, kind of captions where it like can automatically translate, or should you try to do that for yourself on the front end? Because I worry that if I, allow the system to kind of do it for me, it might not, capture the word correctly or take on a different meaning. And then how does that work in terms of like where the caption should be and people kind of like having, sometimes I think like the captions kind of land on top of themselves. I don't know if I'm making sense, but.
Yeah, you're making total sense. In general, anytime any type of online tool has a native experience, and for those of you who aren't familiar with that phrase, native experience, it simply means taking some action within that tool itself. In general, it's generally better to manage it within that particular tool itself. YouTube does give you the opportunity to like watch your video and type the captions. So that way, if you're pausing for a moment or two or even longer, then the captions would pause as well. So if you think that that's something that might be appropriate for your particular audience or for your particular niche, I would definitely recommend at least experimenting with it and see how it works for you. If you decide that this is a lot of effort and you're not sure if it's making that much of a difference, then maybe you might want to back off. But give it a try and just see how it works.
Thank you so much, Pamela. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Darissa, for your thoughtful questions. I'm going to invite you to join us back in the audience as we bring in Vanessa. Thanks so much for your patience, Vanessa. And you are on mute.
Got it. Sorry.
There you go. Hi,
Pamela and everyone else. Thank you for this information that you're providing. My name is Vanessa, as you see. I have an event planning and management company. It's called Global Organization and Planning Services at globalorganizationplanning.com. And we operate in 2 markets, in Atlanta and the New York, New Jersey area. And we're working on developing a channel to provide information to those targeted markets. And I wanted to know, how do I actually make private a live stream? And if I do create a private live stream, can I then later make it public?
Yes, that's a great question. So let's talk about YouTube Live for just a moment before we kind of dive into that, just that way everybody else who's on board can understand that. YouTube Live allows you to do live experiences, kind of sort of like we might be doing here today. What's great about YouTube Live is you can really maximize things like Vanessa was saying for her events. So if she wants to do a live stream event and let people watch that at the same time as it's happening, that's where YouTube Live can definitely come into play. You've got a lot of flexibility with the different visibility for your YouTube Live as well. So if you wanted to make it specific just for, a closed audience, you've got that opportunity. After the live experience is over, you will have that recording. So then if at some point in the future, you want to make that recording available through YouTube or through any other tool to different audiences, you've got that opportunity as well. So with the event management business that you have, it seems like that's definitely something that obviously you've already been exploring it to some degree. And I think that's something that I encourage you to continue to explore to see how you can kind of maximize that to help your business grow.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
awesome. Thank you so much, Vanessa. And a couple of things before I bring Pamela on stage. I do see a few hands raised, and if you would like to ask a question, please direct message me so I can obtain your permission to bring you on stage. Just have to dot our I's and cross our T's, as you will. And I just want to remind everyone that we are coming to the bottom of the hour. So if you have a question in the Q&A window and you haven't been called on, double check your direct messages in the chat window. We probably are waiting on permission from you. So with that, I am going to bring Pamela on stage. Hello, Pamela. How are you doing?
I'm fine, unmuted. Hi. It's nice to be here. I'm enjoying the conversation. My question is about monetizing. I've heard that word, and I know that there are people that publish their videos and they benefit financially from that. I am so far from that. I'm sitting here on my channel now looking at my views, and apparently it has something to do with the number of views that you have. Where you're eligible for that. Can you talk about that a little bit? And then for someone like myself, how to boost my viewership? It's like I have a few things out there, but no one knows that it's there.
Yeah, okay, Pamela. And I applaud you, even if you are just getting started, to start that you're thinking about what could your future experience be like. And so I think that that's fantastic that you're thinking that far ahead. So monetizing your YouTube channel is something that I get a lot of questions about. Monetizing, the way that most people think about it, as if you are watching YouTube, you probably have experienced that there are advertisements on YouTube. YouTube is a 100% free tool, and it needs to be paid for somehow, and that's where advertising comes into play. So if a YouTube channel has got 1,000 subscribers, and if you have 4,000 hours worth of public viewing in the last 12 months, that's when you can become eligible to generate money from when ads are shown on your channel and people click on those ads. So that's what people typically refer to as monetizing their YouTube channel. So if that's something that's a goal of yours, you can start thinking strategically about how can you reach those thresholds. Other YouTube creators, they will monetize their channel by having sponsors. This pen manufacturer paid me $50 to talk about their pen, or something along those lines. So there are different varieties of things that you can do. Other people generate revenue through their YouTube channel by having products that they sell. If you like Pamela's Pet Shop, buy a Pamela's Pet Shop t-shirt. There's a link in my, the description, that type of thing. But most of the time when people are talking about monetizing their YouTube channel, they're talking about how can they get YouTube to give them money by having advertising on their YouTube channel. Now, as far as how do you get more of those viewers? How do you get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 public hours in a 12-month period? A lot of people have lots of questions about the algorithms that determine what YouTube videos are offered to people. The thing to keep in mind is it's all about your engagement with your audience. You create a video, the video is done. Now your job is to engage your audience. During the video, encourage people to write in comments. What do you think about this? What's the biggest problem you have with ballpoint pens? What's your biggest frustration with ballpoint pens? Please comment below and let me know. And then when people write in those comments, you need to write back. So that way, then all of a sudden, different people will be writing different comments in, and it'll be like your own little mini community, kind of like, Hello Alice has got a huge community. And so keep in mind, you really want to nurture that audience. In your videos, again, ask people if you like today's video, if you know anybody who might appreciate this information, please share it with them. So that goes back to, if you ask people to do something, they're going to be a heck of a lot more likely to actually do it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please have the alert show up so you can know every time I have a new video. So just continue to build that relationship with those. They're strangers to you now, but ideally they will become your customers.
One other question that just popped in my head about editing. If we're using our cell phones or iPads, I just noticed that there's an editor in here. Are we to use the editor that's provided, or would you recommend something easy or user-friendly for us to get started with on our own editing, like adding the in tag sheets that has, how to get to you, that kind of stuff? I feel not real confident about editing.
Yeah, so editing is a question I get asked a lot too. And just for a point of clarity, those end cards that I mentioned and the screens, or the end screens and the cards, those are something when you're in YouTube, putting in the details about your YouTube video, you do that through the YouTube tool. Okay. As far as editing your video, like, I screwed up at the beginning, I want to trim that part out, or something happened in the middle, can I cut that part out? There's a variety of different types of editing tools that you can use. What I would suggest, because I actually did this earlier today, is I went to Hello Alice and I searched for video editing, and they had a bunch of information on their site about different video editing options. There are some free resources that you can use to do fairly common editing tools like trimming your video or that type of thing. In YouTube itself, you can add background music. That is one place that you want to be mindful that you don't get tripped up with. Do not add background music that's your favorite pop song that you love, or your favorite whatever song. You want to be mindful that you're not violating people's copyrights. So for those of you that just want to have general background music behind your video, I would definitely recommend, when you're uploading your video to YouTube, in what is called the YouTube Studio, you have the opportunity to select some copyright-free background music for your videos.
Okay, thank you. Very informative.
Fantastic question, Pamela. Thank you so much for joining us on stage. And Pamela and Pamela. All right, so we are right at the bottom of the hour, but we do have a few questions queued up, Pamela. Would it be possible for us to go a little longer?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. We have fantastic questions in the Q&A. And I do want to say one thing before we invite Chanta to turn on her video, but we are mindful of the fact that, we are only on the line for an hour and a lot of really great questions have been asked. So I'm going to take an opportunity to inform everyone on the line that we are, by popular demand, doing a bonus AMA next Tuesday, same time, same place, and it's going to just be questions. All right, so it's truly an Ask Me Anything. Come to the table with your questions. Brittany and Danielle will show you how you can skip the line or get to the front by submitting your question ahead of time. So they'll drop that link in the chat. And, we will make sure that you will get the FaceTime you need with a Grow with Google expert. So you don't want to miss this, y'all. With that, Chanta, so great to see you again. And the mic is yours.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for having this opportunity. I did get on the first one and got a chance to meet you. And Pamela, you're doing an absolutely fantastic job. So I'm not going to take up much time because a couple of my questions were answered. I'm going to try that closed caption just to see how that works. But when you talk about the end cards versus end screen, I've done, initially when I started, I did the end screen where you would have another video that would come up and it would also have a subscribe to your channel. But then I started seeing a lot of the end cards, which seemed a little less intrusive, if you would, as you're going through the video. And so I started doing both of those, but I'm not sure which one really works better or if anybody really is clicking on it for it to really help. And so I'm not sure if you have any analytics on that, what's the best practice, which one tends to be working better, and then how to really use it so that it does improve your number of subscribers as well as where you're going from that point forward.
Right. So I think that's fantastic that you've been exploring those tools. So congratulations to that. It's interesting because YouTube will give you a lot of analytics data. So one of the things that I suggest you start looking at is how long are people staying on your videos? If you're finding that people are starting to drop off the video, they may never get to the end screen. And if that's the case, the cards may be, because you can place those at strategic points during the videos, that may be more beneficial for you. It's going to be something that's going to be a little bit different for everybody. So you definitely, it sounds like you've done a good job so far exploring all the things that you can do with YouTube. So I would suggest maybe take it one step further and start to really analyze how are people consuming my videos? Because if they're not making it to the end of the video, then the end screen's not going to do you any good. The other thing that you may want to think about is when you are creating your videos, see if you can create the video very strategically. And you may think the whole purpose of this video is to encourage people to subscribe to my channel. And so a video like that could be, in today's video, I'm talking about this pen because I get lots of questions about it. I also get questions about this pencil, these reading glasses, and this water bottle. So I'm creating some future videos. So if you want to see those videos, be sure you subscribe to my channel because that way you'll be alerted the moment those videos are live. So you probably want to think very strategically about creating just content designed for that one particular goal, if that's the goal that you have for right now. So hopefully I answered your question.
You did. My channel just happens to be a variety of things. I'm a coach, and so that's on a business side, but I also do a message for the hospital every single Sunday. My middle daughter passed away 16 years ago, and we've been doing hospital ministry, but YouTube gave us the option of being able to go in the hospital in the middle of COVID without going in. So every Sunday, there's another message that comes out. But then I also have the opportunity to interview others on Friday and Saturday. So that one shows up on Saturday, like, oh, I'm interviewing somebody else just to find out what they're doing, giving them an opportunity to then engage. So they're different. And you gave a lot of suggestions on doing how-to videos and renaming, as opposed to this is episode number 33 kind of thing. So I'm going to look at putting some of those things into place and then starting some of the how-tos really to generate from that standpoint, hey, strategically saying, I'm looking for subscribers if you are in my tribe, if you would. And
Right.
so I appreciate that. That's why one of the things that Hello Alice does a great job of is we as small business owners, we're trying to get our names out there in a sea of everybody. And how do you do that? More importantly. So I appreciate you, Pamela. Appreciate Hello Alice. Thank you so much for all you guys do for us.
Chanta, I love that. Thank you so much. That just made my heart sing. Thank you.
Good, good.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for your question. I'm going to invite you to join us back in the audience as we invite Mark to join us on video. How's it going, Mark?
Hey there, Mark DeVore.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm in my office with all the deer there. I don't mean to be, putting my deer up there, but my question is, you answered a little bit of this, Pamela. Thank you again. This is fabulous. But you answered a little bit about the music, but I wanted to know about putting up licensed music if I gave credit to all the artists and the recording and all that other stuff. Can I use licensed music in that case, or do I have to physically get permission from the artist to use their music?
Yeah, that's a really slippery slope. Copyright protection is something which is incredibly important to artists. I am not an intellectual property attorney, and I don't play one on TV. So what I would be very careful about that. Even if you do have their permission to use the information, YouTube may not be willing to go there. So I would be very, very careful about that. There's a whole host of videos, there's a whole host of soundtracks that you can use that are free, copyright free, that YouTube has to offer to you. I understand that they may not be quite perfect for what it is that you're looking for, but what I wouldn't want to see is your videos to get shut down or potentially your channel to get shut down because there's concern about whether or not you legitimately have the ability to use people's copyrighted content. Even if you have, the legal document that's signed and notarized and it's going to be a problem for you. So I would be very, very careful about that.
That's great. I thought that was the answer, but what if I put it as a private video and it was my own personal video that I was sharing with friends and family, and then would it be able to be used, or is it still no?
It's still going to be a no. YouTube doesn't want to pass judgment on, is this private video truly just for your kids and your aunts and your uncles and your neighbors, or is it for people that you're trying to generate some revenue off of? So it's going to be a problem, unfortunately.
That's all good. That's what I asked about. But this has been very helpful. I'm right at the cusp of uploading my own videos as soon as they're finished, and then starting my own YouTube channel. I mean, I have some old videos, but I'm going to revamp and put a new spin on it. So my old videos, I have two different things that I'm working with, like a company that I work for and then my own business. And I would like to have them on both platforms, but I don't want to create a conflict of interest. So can I link somehow between them and I don't know even how to ask that question, but I don't want to create a conflict of interest between my job and my business, which are doing the same thing. They're like two different things. So how do I share stuff without never mind. That's probably something you can't answer. So
well, I certainly don't want to get in the middle of any type of employee relations issues there. So
Sure.
I would say that would be a conversation perhaps to have with your employer first.
Got it.
All right. Good luck with that.
Thanks so much, Mark. All righty, we have Yvonne on stage, and I'm trying to get to as many questions as we can. So Yvonne, thank you so much for your question. Would you like to ask Pamela directly? Oh, you're on mute, Yvonne.
Sorry. I didn't read the fine print, and I guess I deleted my personal channel while I was making my business channel. And it looks like I lost my subscribers and I lost all my content. Well, I probably could get the content back, but I lost all my subscribers, it looks like. And I'm starting over now, seems like.
How many subscribers did you have?
I didn't have a lot. I didn't even want to tell you because it's not enough to mention, but
that's fine.
But it was a start. I'm surprised I had that many, but it was under 50. But I'm just starting out. I had about maybe 5 or 6 videos out there, and now they're gone.
Yeah. So the videos, hopefully, you had the videos stored someplace safely on your computer, so you still have those. If there's any way that if the subscribers were, friends or family or customers or people that in your community, I would just be pretty direct and say, listen, I had a problem. The videos came down. I'm putting them back up. Would love it if you would, take another look at them. People are funny. If we oftentimes want to have this very crisp persona. But if we're genuine with people and we let them know what has happened, people are generally very happy to help us out.
Okay. Appreciate that. Yeah, I think I've located where I can get my videos back. So that's not a problem. And I look like I got all of my subscriptions back as well.
Fantastic.
It was just all of the subscribers. I don't know who they were, so I don't know how to reach out to them.
Right. You may need to start, unfortunately, you may need to start fresh.
Okay, no problem. Okay. I'm down for that.
All righty.
Good luck, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so I think we have time for one last question today. And we have Ronald on the line to round us out. Ronald, welcome to the stage.
Hi, how are you doing? My name's Ron Cookser. We have a cancer diagnostic lab that we're setting up, and we're doing some fundraising activities. And I wanted to know if YouTube have it. We're going to do something initially through GoFundMe, but I was wondering if the YouTube platform has any type of fundraising, money collecting type facility within the software.
Yeah, I'm unaware of anything like that YouTube has. One thing that always comes to mind is, are you a nonprofit or are you for-profit?
No, we're doing something very unique. We're actually a for-profit. We're basically raising money to help us build out our commercial lab. We come out of we research through grants, and we want to see if we can get some people interested, not only through the GoFundMe, but interested in the actual processes that we're allowing are going to be distributing, as well as the interest in our lab getting started from a compassionate point of view. After that, then we'll go to venture capital, but we want to see what kind of attention we can raise to begin with on the GoFundMe platform.
Yeah, so you're doing crowdsourcing then, it sounds like.
In a sense, yes.
Yep. So what I would recommend if I were you, if you wanted to build out a YouTube presence, is build out the YouTube presence, creating videos that you think your audience, and it's kind of interesting because your audience here would be the audience of people that are willing to donate, that those people would be interested in. And then as we've been talking about, your videos need to have, what is the goal of your video? What do you want people to do? And so just like with other people, if the goal of their video is to get people to visit their website to buy their product, the goal of your video could be, this is what we're trying to achieve. We would love it if you would visit our crowdfunding site. to get a little bit more information about what we're doing, and please consider donating. But there again, just kind of try to think about the videos that you could create that are going to appeal to your ideal audience. It could be people that are cancer survivors. It could be friends and family of cancer survivors. So you want to start building some momentum. But then again, I think it's perfectly fair in your videos, let people know we're trying to raise money and we would appreciate your help in any shape or fashion that you can. But as far as an actual crowdfunding platform, to the best of my knowledge, there's nothing built into YouTube itself.
I guess we can, I just gathered some of the information that you earlier, we would put maybe in the video, we could put like a card in there that would, I think that's what you call where it would link to, they could click on, that could link to the GoFundMe or not?
Yeah, potentially it could. You definitely in the video description could have a link to your GoFundMe for sure.
Or just in the type below.
In the type below, yep. And then the cards, I'm not 1,000% certain, and I should know this, then I will find out the answer after this video is over. I'm not 1,000% certain if in your end screens or in your cards, if you can point to places outside of YouTube, or if you can only point to places within YouTube, meaning watch this other video, like this video. So that's an educational opportunity for me as well.
Okay, yeah, that was the main thing. I just did, I didn't want to put all the stuff up there and get attention there and not be able to get them to the funding site. So,
you certainly can have the link in the description. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right. Good luck. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone. All righty. What a lively discussion we have had today. So I know that there are still quite a few questions that didn't make it to the stage with Pamela, but this is all the more reason why I want to invite every single one of you to join us for next week's AMA, pure AMA session. And I also want to invite you all to submit your questions ahead of time and try to get them to the beginning of the queue by visiting the Hello Alice Sprint community via the links that Danielle and Brittany provided in our chat window. So I just want to call out that what you will see is a post with my face. I'm wearing glasses, so I look a little different. And below my post, there is a section that says reply to Jillian. So I've actually taken a screenshot so you can see exactly where you can put your question. And you put your question in the box and then press the purple plus sign. So I will make sure that that is in the helpful links document as well. If you have further questions, remember, there is a community of fellow business owners available to you. So not only do we link you with experts every single week of a sprint, but you can also submit any and all questions regarding recommended tools or places to get help within the Sprint community on helloalice.com. So with that, Pamela, I want to thank you so much for imparting your knowledge to our community of small business owners. And do you have any last bits of advice that you'd like to share with us today?
Yeah, so my advice is just do it. It's just video. You can put a video up, let it live, see what happens. If a week later you're like, not so sure, you can always take it down. Just you have to start someplace. And so I encourage you all to go ahead and start.
I love it. Start somewhere, but start today.
Yep.
Awesome. I can't think of any more powerful words to end with than that, Pamela. So thank you again. Thank you, Betsy. Thank you to our partners at Grow with Google. Thank you, Brittany and Danielle, for keeping the show going. And we will see every one of you next Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Do not miss this, y'all. Have a great rest of your week and talk to you soon. Bye.